Hello, this is Daniel Korn once again, a Publish America author. Today we are giving instruction on installing a 5-band tuner active preamp in an acoustic guitar. I purchased the unit from an Amazon connection and paid, I think it was about $17 plus shipping. As you can see, this has a tuner in it, 5-band EQ and a volume knob and power battery light. Along with it looks like a power switch. We've got presence, treble, mid 2, mid 1, and bass. And I was attracted to the unit because all the features for the price. Well, first of all, we have the transducer, which I didn't actually mount under the bridge. I mounted it in front of the bridge because my bridge is glued down after I intonated it. I didn't want to tamper with the tuning and the intonation on the guitar, so I actually sanded a little bit in front of the bridge, leaving enough room to make sure that the bridge stays securely in. Left maybe a 1/16 of an inch of wood to the front of it, which may not be very strong, but it goes in fairly deep, so I'm not too worried about it. Of course, if anything breaks, you can always replace it. This transducer is a braided wire that I drilled a small hole in the front portion of the bridge and then fed the wire through. Towards the back, we've got a low impedance and a high impedance jack. You can see we cut a hole in the guitar using a Dremel and a little saw blade, and then hand filed it to get a perfect fit. And of course, this is the battery compartment, which once you've made your connections, kind of fits in there. Of course, got that backwards. That unit simply plugs in that wire. I've already connected it. I used a whole computer cable to feed it through the hole to get the wire from the front module to the back module. Of course, after we hand filed it, it fits quite nicely, and the last thing we have to do before that unit is completed is to put the small screws in each of the 4 corners. And then the wire from this transducer, which we're going to actually, because the wood is roughed up there somewhat, we're going to actually use a little bit of clear glue, tack it on the bottom lightly, of course, not too much. You know, you want to keep things serviceable, but you want it to be durable also, so I'll probably use a little Elmer's clear glue on the bottom side, being careful not to get any on the top side of the transducer, as these things are sensitive. Then moving up towards the front, of course, we had to take off the guitar strings to and pull the pins out of the bridge to be careful to keep in mind that that transducer should not touch the strings. If you have your action adjusted, make sure that the transducer steers clear of the strings. Your bridge, the white piece that you see right here in going across, is higher up than the wood that I shaved off to drop it kind of down in front, and lower than where the strings ride over the bridge towards the top of the neck. Then looking in the sound hole, which you can't see too well, that transducer simply plugs into the back of this module. These are very simple installations. The only danger is you have to keep in mind you do not want to make your holes in your instrument excessive, because if you do, you might miss these 4 screw holes. If you make it larger, the back of this module, which I'm not going to take out now that it's kind of seated, the back of this module is actually smaller than the front face of this unit, so your hole is going to be smaller than the plate you're looking at here on the top. This plate kind of covers up the hole, and you want to make sure you got room to get those 4 screws in. Of course, if you do run into troubles with the wood being removed underneath where the screws are supposed to be put in, you could use a little bit of glue. Of course, you want to be able to get it out of there in case it does get damaged or whatever, need replacement. And then last thing I have to do here to complete this installation is to put the 4 screws in the 2 units, this tuner and EQ volume knob, and put the 4 screws in the battery compartment with the high impedance and low impedance jack. And then I'm going to tack this unit right onto the roughed up wood with a little bit of Elmer's glue. You could use maybe a better glue. I should say something stronger, not necessarily better, but maybe even a little dab of epoxy or something. If well, that's hard to remove, but a glue that you might be able to heat up and remove it. If you do damage the transducer, you want to be able to replace it. But all in all, after we're done putting in the screws and gluing down the transducer, we're going to put a battery in it and string it up, and maybe oil the neck a little bit with some good instrument polish. Maybe tighten up the screws on the headstock, machine screws, and then we'll try it out tonight. This is Dan Korn, a Publish America author, saying good picking to y'all and do a good install. Thank you.